Richard Gere. He slides a scrap of paper across the table, flips it with 2 fingers, and there it is, in neat block letters. Please say yes. Then, that infamous half-smile. At 76, Richard Gere still has the kind of magnetism that doesn't need lighting or a close-up. The man made a career out of making hearts race drifter in American Gigolo, dream tycoon in Pretty Woman, slick charmer in Chicago. On-screen, women melted. Off-screen, let's just say nobody ever questioned his pull. So, when he's asked the question, most actors duck. Who were the women you secretly wanted but never had? He doesn't hide behind a joke. He leans back, eyes flashing, and says, "You want honesty? I'll give you honesty. 6 names, 6 stories, 6 what-ifs." He swears kept his imagination wide awake. Some were co-stars who lit up the set with him. Others were icons he circled but never touched. Not schoolboy crushes, he teases. I'm talking the kind of temptation that could ruin your schedule, and you'd thank it. And, with that, he starts counting them down. Buckle up. Number 4 and number 6 may knock you sideways. 1. Julia Roberts. That smile didn't just light up scenes, it rewired the room. He remembers her laugh, the way it snapped the world into slow motion. People saw chemistry, he hints, but between takes, it was its own weather system. She'd touch his arm, lock those big eyes on him, and poof, there went the boundary between character and human. He swears the spark was instant, the kind that doesn't need dialogue or direction. Be honest, if you were the guy opposite her in Pretty Woman, would you keep your cool? He jokes that if she'd crooked a finger back then, they'd still be searching the lot for them. Not just beauty fearless, goofy, brilliantly alive. That's the combo that makes a seasoned leading man forget the camera exists. 2. Diane Lane. Trouble you beg for, he says, grinning. On Unfaithful, temptation wasn't just the plot. It was the air everyone breathed. Diane didn't perform sensuality. She carried it like a temperature. She'd tilt her head, half smile, and suddenly the floor wasn't steady. He admits there were moments he lost track of where the script ended and real life tried to start. She'd whisper a line, and his brain would wander 2 pages ahead. Nervous? Him? Almost never. But she made him second-guess his composure, and he loved that she could. If the line between acting and reality had ever blurred further, he says he wouldn't have been the one to pump the brakes. Number 3. Michelle Pfeiffer. Ice and Fire. Wrapped in calm. He talks about her like a riddle you want to keep solving. From Scarface to The Fabulous Baker Boys, she moved with quiet voltage. You felt it before she crossed the room. She could strip you down with a look, he laughs. Not sorry about it. People didn't just admire her, they treated her like a phenomenon. Smart, razor-quick and dangerous in the best way, she had that cool surface with a flicker underneath. And he wondered what would happen if she aimed that focus at him. No cameras, no clock. If she'd leaned across a table and said, "Let's go," he says the chair would have been empty before the glass settled. Not just lust, either fascination. The kind that changes what you think you want next. 4. Susan Sarandon. Here's where the eyebrows go up. You don't handle Susan, he says. You surrender. From Bull Durham to Thelma and Louise, she walked into spaces like they already belonged to her. It wasn't a delicate allure, it was a dare. She'd toss her hair, smirk like she knew your thoughts before you did, and suddenly all your polite instincts took the night off. He swears the first time he met her, there was a literal charge, like static right before a storm. What made her irresistible wasn't just the curves or the wit, it was fearlessness. She could make you squirm and thank her for the privilege. If she'd ever said, "Let's disappear for a minute," he would have been gone in 10 seconds, no questions asked. 5. Sharon Stone. He lets out a low whistle just saying her name. This wasn't seduction. This was high voltage. From Basic Instinct to Casino, she didn't act confident. She weaponized it. That direct stare that clocks your soul and asks if you can keep up. He remembers industry rooms that bent around her like heat waves, intelligence like a blade, charm like a magnet. She'd fire off a one-liner, then bring you right back with a smile, and you were toast either way. Would he have risked a headline? He doesn't blink. Absolutely. Some scandals, he suggests, are worth the fine. The pull of someone that unapologetically themselves? Irresistible, especially to a man who's seen it all. 6. Sophia Loren. And now, the one that makes the room go still. His voice softens with the name, not a star, an era. He paints the picture, a crowded, glittering event, the usual legends, and then she glides in, and the atmosphere changes shape. You don't just look at Sophia Loren, you're caught by her orbit. Presence, warmth, iron under velvet. She made you feel safe and in danger, in the same breath. He admits she was the ultimate what if, even when he was already a household name. If she'd whispered his name, he wouldn't have just followed, he'd have sprinted through fire. People call her untouchable, he muses. If she'd invited me to try, the cameras would have seen more than anyone was ready for. It's reverence with a spark, and it tells you everything you need to know. Now, why share this list at all? Maybe because time has a way of sharpening the truth. At this age, the filters loosen, and the stories get fun. He's not claiming trophies, he's admitting he's human. The fantasy wasn't just ours watching from the seats, it was his, too, pacing just off stage. And there's something disarming about hearing a legend confess. He almost lost the script to real desire more than once. So, what ties these 6 together? Power and presence. Women who weren't asking for permission, who knew exactly who they were and let the world catch up. Funny, fearless, sharp, magnetic, each in a different key. The kind of women who make a leading man feel like a rookie again. That's the secret he's letting us in on. Even the guy who embodied romance for decades got starstruck, tongue-tied, and tempted. Relatable, right? And hey, if you loved this little stroll through old-school Hollywood heat and honest confessions, show some love. Tap like, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next deep dive into the legends, the myths, and the moments that made them. Got a star you want us to cover next? Say the word. Until then, keep your cool, or don't.